Yeah, it's already started. So thank you so much for the professionals or the students who are also going to watch us on YouTube Live. So welcome to you. So it's already time. Let me share the screen. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see.
Great. So as you know, we already completed the challenge 9. That means in last week, we started the improve phase activities. And in that, we learned important tools, including the design of experiment and how we are going to implement and validate the solutions. Now, in this week, we are going to conclude the improve phase. But before that, we are also going to understand two important topics from it. Let me zoom it a little bit so you can see it easily. So this is the challenge 10, right? And challenge 10 talks about the second part of the improve phase, where we are going to talk about the essential lean tools that we can use as a part of improve phase. And along with that, we are also going to talk about the standardization. Standardization part is similar to the part that we also used for the countermeasure implementation, but it is equally important when we are going to talk about this part related to the standardization of the countermeasures that we are going to execute. Okay, so the learning of this improve phase second part concludes two important parts. The first one is standardization, and in second part we will go in more detail and understand what are the essential lean tools. So in this section we are going to learn 10 important essential lean tools that you must learn and you must apply during your project execution. These lean tools are also going to help you in your day-to-day applications, where you are going to identify the waste and we are going to work on it so that we can eliminate them. One more important thing, with the help of practical example, as you know, we have already taken the model project like the production defect reduction. So I am also going to demonstrate you live, like how we can use these lean tools that we are going to see today for that project. We will also see that what is a methodology for each of the tool and what is the impact of those tools, right? Some of the tools can be also used in combination. So what are these combination that also I will demonstrate you live once we complete the introduction of it, right? So I will demonstrate that on our model project. And in the third part, I will just conclude what are the tasks that we need to complete as a part of the challenge 10. Okay, so shall we start with the standardization?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sachin. Welcome to this weekly call.
Thank you.
So as you know, the name indicates what is standardization. Standardization means we are going to create a system that should follow in the same way at every time by anyone, right? So there is no confusion. Whether there is a person who is going to use, let's say it's an operator or any other person who is going to handle that system, he or she must follow the system in the same way. So if you are going to create that kind of system, it is called as a standardization. Please look at the way here. It's the same way at every time by anyone, right? That is called as a standardization. Now, related to standardization, we already had a small introduction of this related to countermeasure implementation. What are the levels of standardization, right? So we already seen there are 6 levels of standardization, starting from level 1, which is very weak. Level 2 is weak, and as we are approaching to the level 5 and 6, these are the strongest levels of countermeasures, right? If you can see in more detail, you can see here level 1 and level 2, that is totally depending on the human behavior. For example, if you go into the more detail, let's take an example here. Okay, so the level 1 talks about remind the person of the way to do the check correctly, right? So instead of having the system, we are depending on the man and we are reminding that person regularly to do the task correctly, right? The examples of this includes the preventive maintenance card, 1-point lessons, standard operating procedures, work instructions, and operator training. If you ask the simple question here, by having the level 1 countermeasure, is it going to solve the problem? Of course, the answer is no, but we can take it as a temporary countermeasure, right? So this is the temporary solution that we are going to execute till the time we have a very strong countermeasure in place, right? So that is the level 1. As it is indicated in red, so it indicates that though we are going to execute this countermeasure, the problem is going to repeat. Why? Because the countermeasure is not too strong and it is depending on the human behavior. Is it correct? Is it clear up to level 1?
Yes, sir.
Great. Now the level 2 is about double check, right? So already there is some system. You place the 1-point lessons, work instructions, you created the preventive maintenance card. But whether that system is getting followed or not, for that purpose, we are going to put another system there. So that is called as auditing. Double check that the person has remembered the correct way or not. So that can be like you are going to conduct the interviews, one-on-one interviews. You are going to interview with the team who is going to work on into that work area, or you can also have the audit, right? So perform an audit and quality manage. These are the examples of level 2 countermeasure. Though it is better than the level 1, again, it is depending on the human, and you are going to do the, I can say, the supervisory task to check whether that task is uh, happening or that is carried out accurately or not, right? So though this is better than the level 1, still it is a weak countermeasure. That means even if you have this level of countermeasure, the problem is going to be repeat. But as I said, level 1 and level 2 countermeasures are the temporary countermeasures that you can initiate till the time we have a very strong countermeasure is in place. Is it clear about the level 2?
Yes, sir.
Great. Now the level 3 is better than these two. Why? Because instead of reminding the person or the person to keep in mind, it is very easy that he or she consistently see at a glance, right? Constantly remind them at a glance of the correct way. For example, visual control, gauge marking, signage, floor markings, right? So that itself is helping to understand that person what is the correct way, right? Because there are some visual markings, and thereby we are going to avoid the mistakes and we are going to put the better controls over our countermeasures.
So we can say, sir, dashboard as well, right? I mean,
Yeah,
any
yeah,
sort of dashboard. Yeah.
yeah. All types of indicators, we can say. All types of indicators come into this, where you are going to make the things visible,
Yep.
visual. So instead of, I can say, having the work instructions, OPL, it will be like more visible. It will help you to understand whether anything is going into the wrong direction or not.
Sure. Yep. Thank you.
Now, the level 4, as we also discussed into the root cause analysis, this is the minimum level of countermeasure you should target, right? So this is Poka-Yoke. Make it difficult to do in the incorrect way. This is called as a foolproof design, mistake proofing, or it is also called as a Poka-Yoke. And we can also initiate the Kaizen here as one of the lean tools, where we are going to identify how we can avoid or how we can make it difficult so that the person should not make that type of mistake. Right? So this is the Poka-Yoke. The level 5 is about the automation. Here, we are going to eliminate the human element. I'm going a little bit faster because this part is already covered into the root cause analysis, and we need to put the more time on the lean tools, right? So if you're having any questions, if any clarity is needed, so please let me know. We are also going to take one practical example once I explain this. Okay,
Yep.
great. So the level 5 is eliminate the human element. That means we are doing some automation so that we will not depending on the human behavior, right? So it is also can be like we can integrate with a Kaizen. Now the thing is that level 5, it's somewhat costlier and it is also required some time because it is like we need to take the help from the external agencies, right? Because we are going for the automation. So this is somewhat costlier, but it is the better solution, better countermeasure that you can clearly see that is highlighted in light green color into the countermeasure ladder. And the last countermeasure, that is, we can call it as a strongest countermeasure level, where we are going to eliminate the operation. Because of that, we are creating the problem, right? So this is not so easy because this requires the design change. We need to change the product, we need to change the system, we need to change the process design, right? So there is a lot of efforts lot of resources, lot of money, right? That is involved into the level 6 of countermeasure. Though level 5 and level 6 are the best countermeasures and that going to, I can say, completely eliminate the reoccurrence of the problem significantly. This also involves the large resources. As I said, that it involves the huge efforts, huge time, and also requires the significant amount of money. But if it is possible for you that you can invest into that particular problem, or if the problem is so severe that is it can result into the uh, safety of the people who are going to work in that area, or it can be so critical that you can lose the customer. So in those situations, you must think about the level 5 and level 6 countermeasures. But if it is not the situation, if it is not so critical, think about at least level 4. Why so? Because it will also take some moderate amount of time, moderate amount of resources, but the benefits that you will get from this level 4 of countermeasure, that will be huge. So my recommendation is you must always always think about how we can implement the Poka-Yoke into that area so that we can avoid the reoccurrence of the problem. Is it clear about all the 6 levels of countermeasures and standardizations?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's take a simple example. Okay, so this is, I will just keep this slide open. Let me keep this image open. Just focus on this image and think about the situation. Okay, let me give an example. So there is a one square. At that square, the vehicles are coming from all 4 sides and traffic is getting jammed. Did you understand the situation? There is a one square, and at that square, vehicles are coming all the 4 directions, and because there is no system, nothing is there, the traffic is getting jammed, and sometimes there is accident also going to happen because there is no control and anything. Now, please tell me, if you are the Six Sigma expert there, and if you want to implement the countermeasure there, what will be the level 1 countermeasure?
At
Just think
least,
about it. Yeah.
at least I will start with the traffic signal.
Traffic signal will be much better because you
Okay.
are going to make it as visual, right? That's a level
Okay.
3.
I would
Okay.
say traffic police, traffic controller police.
Yeah. So there will be some person who's going to be put there and who is going to control, right? So you will try to post some visuals there, and there must be one traffic
Road
officer will
signs.
be there, right?
Yeah.
And he will help the people like to go and wait and like that, right? So he's going to control, right?
Right.
So that will be the level 1. Very good. What will be the level 2?
Put some principles, whether he's following it or not, and do the audit.
Absolutely. So we can identify who are jumping the signals, who are not following it, and you can issue the challenge to them, right? So it's like you're auditing and you're punishing them, right? By whatever the wrong actions they are going to take. So that will be the level 2. Very good. Level 3, as you already talked, it's a very good countermeasure that you can put the signals there,
Yep.
right? But it's not a foolproof, right? Even though
Yep.
there is a signal, there is a visual control. Now, please look at this. If you see by just putting the signal there, you are providing the visual controls, right? So compared to the level 1 and level 2, you can see what is the uh, improvement that you can see that is a more significant compared to the level 1 and level 2, right? Even if you have the traffic police there, if you are going to cut the challans, though you can see there is a lot of indiscipline that is going to happen. But as soon as you put the signal there, still it is a chance that is going to happen, but it will improve significantly compared to level 1 and level 2. Right. So we understood the level 1, 2, and 3. Very good. Now, what will be the level 4?
Markings.
Markings will not be, yeah, markings again, you can say it's a level 3, right? Because you are going to mark there. So it's a very easy for them to understand, okay, they need to stop there. And they should not jump. But what is level 4?
I mean, marking in the sense if you take like a right turn, It's
Do not
everyone.
enter.
He'll,
Do not
yeah,
enter. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, but that is again visual, right?
okay.
That's a level 3. Level 4, yeah, definitely we need to put some efforts there, right? See, level
Dividers.
4, level 4, level 5, level 6 countermeasure are not so easy that you can easily identify it. Level 1, level 2, level 3 countermeasures, if you can just put some more, I can say, stress on your brain, you will immediately come out of this level 1, 2, 3 countermeasure, right? But level 4, level 5, and level 6, as you can approach to the higher levels, it is required a lot of thinking, right? A lot of systematic approach. Now let's think about what will be the level 4.
Putting the dividers.
Yeah, so maybe there is some barricade or something like that. So whenever there is a red signal is going to become, that barricade come, right? So even the person wants to jump it, he or she cannot because the barricade is there, right? So that's a Poka-Yoke. It's a mistake proofing, right? So we are completely foolproofing it.
Yep.
We can also link that to the level 5 countermeasure because it is automated, right? So level 4 will be like the manually, if there is a red signal, you can put that manually, the barricade, right? And automation is like automatically, if there is the red signal is going to be there, automatically a barricade will come, right? So if you can do that, we can see the combination of level 4 and 5. And with that, you can see significant we can say that we almost eliminate the indiscipline and the traffic accidents, right? So imagine, right, what kind of improvement we'll have once we have the level 4 and level 5 of countermeasures. Very good. Now let's talk about the level 6. As I said, level 6 is the strongest countermeasure, so you need to think more. It is about elimination. It is about the design change.
Flyovers.
Automation, automated chalan, if the
Flyovers.
Automatic,
person jumps.
Design the roads in such a way that only single person can go on one direction only. Not
right? So there,
person should come.
absolutely. So there can be, you can modify the road such a way that there will be only one side road. There should not be the crossing, or you can make the flyovers, right? So thereby there is no square. So what is the issue there? The issue is going to happen because there is a square. So if you are going to remove that square and if you want to modify the roads in such a way that there should be like only one way transportation will be there, or there are flyovers, right? So they are going to eliminate the problem because what is the problem here? There's a square, and because of that, they are going to face the problem. So if there is no square, no problem. But it is required the design change. Look at the level 6. Design out the need to do it. Right? Now, as I said, level 6 countermeasure is not so easy because it requires lot of efforts, money, resources, right? And it will also take the significant amount of time. But once you implement it, it will be solved permanently, right? So we just taken the one example, and we also seen what are the level 1 to level 6 of countermeasure that we can execute into that situation. Now, in same way, if you come across any situation related to your project, whatever the root cause that we have identified at the end of the analyze phase, we need to think about what kind of countermeasure we can execute so that we will get this kind of countermeasure, at least level 4, and look for the level 5 and 6 as well. Let's go into the detail for the second part, that is the essential lean tools, right? So as you know, what is the importance of the lean tools? These are the tools or techniques we are going to use to improve overall effectiveness of the system. So as you know how the lean is going to be work, we are going to identify the waste in any of the processes, and we are going to use this tool so that we can eliminate those waste, right? So the lean philosophy is totally based on elimination of the waste. Now let's talk about what are these 10 essential tools. One more thing, as a Lean Six Sigma expert, you must know all these 10 tools, and you must also be using this on day-to-day life so that we can eliminate the waste from our processes, our products, our services to make our systems more effective. Okay, so the first tool, I can say, is the simple but one of the most effective tools, that is a 7S. Now, what is 7S? 7S is the inclusion of 5S that we are going to use regularly in addition to safety and spirit. So these are the 2S which is later on got added to the 5S. I will come to that point to what is the importance of this 2S which is got added later on. But let's focus on this 5S first. As the name indicates, it consists of the 5 steps important approach, which talks about first S is about the sort, in which we are going to eliminate whatever is not needed. So there is the structured drive that we are going to implement into our work environment, or we can say the department or organization, where we are going to identify what are the parts or what are the things which are not required. And we are going to remove those parts by segregation to the area that is called as a 5S red tag area that we are going to create as a part of 1S. In that 5S red tag area, whatever the things that we are going to move, we are also going to tag them. And afterwards, we are going to dispose them based on whether we can reuse it, or if it is not reused, then we need to scrap it, right? So that is the first step. Eliminate whatever is not needed. Now think about whatever is needed, we need to create a system for it. We need to organize them. We need to create a place for everything, and we need to ensure everything is in its place. So that is a set in order. That is a second S in 5S. Once we created the place for every item that is needed, then we need to have the system for cleaning. So regularly we need to clean so that our work environment will be very clean and we should not have any abnormalities. Now this is the one-time activity that we are going to do, but to maintain the results we got from this 1S to 3S, we need to continue this practice, and we also need to ensure the continuous improvement into it. And as a part of system, we are going to create the regular cleaning and maintenance check sheet, right? Now this mechanism that we are going to create, the system that we are going to create must be very easy that anyone can follow without confusion. So there is a lot of standardization and visual management that is also going to become as a part of this standardization. Of course, don't think at when you are going to standardize the thing, it should be world class, but start it with the simple and later on, ensure that we are going to improve it consistently by using the Kaizen approach, right? So this is the standardize. And the sustain is about, we need to make a 5S as a way of life. So we need to do that at practice regularly by each and every person who is part of that organization. And then only we are going to meet the continuous improvement into 5S. Of course, as I said, it is not the one-time activity, and we should always ensure that there is a continuous improvement into it. So after some time, we can say that there is a significant improvement from where we started to where we reach. Now, let's come back to the other 2S. Is it clear about the 5S?
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, the other 2S, which is got added later on, the intent behind is that in some of the areas, the 5S is getting implemented in some of the organization, but you can see the implementation of this 5S, there are a lot of safety issues come out, right? So the people are doing a lot of improvements as a part of 5S, but there is no focus on safety. To ensure that whatever the things or whatever the modifications that we are going to do as a part of 5S, safety must be the integral part of it. And that's why 6S is got added to this 5S that is called as a safety. This ensures the focus attention on safety during the 5S implementation. So whatever the team that we are going to form as a part of 5S, because this is a teamwork, right? And for each of the smaller areas, we are going to create the smaller teams so that we can maintain the 5S, we can ensure the continuous improvement into it. There must be the one person who is a part of that team who is totally focusing on the safety aspects of each and every activity that is going to be carried out as a part of this 5S implementation. That is called as a safety liaison, right? But there is one more thing. Even though the organization is putting a lot of efforts, a lot of money, right? Though there are some organizations who are significantly getting failed into the 5S implementation. It is not like that people don't know what is 5S, how to do that, right? How to follow it and how to ensure the continuous improvement it. But still, having the knowledge of everything, the 5S implementation is got failed. Why it is so? Because there is a seventh yes which is getting involved. So this is also called as a part of employee engagement, right? And this is the, I can say, the foundation part. So if you can see in if organizations are going for the 5S implementation or any continuous improvement program implementation, they are first focused on what is the employee engagement, right? So they need to work on the, I can say, the work environment culture. Spirit talks about amount of motivation to contribute in organization vision. If organization is going for the 5S implementation, what is the amount of motivation all the employees or everyone into the organization has, right? So that talks about the culture of the organization. It's a reflection of the culture. So if you can say there is the no work-life balance, you can say there is the negative impact on the 5S. If there is, you can say there is a low salaries or the no promotions or extra hours of working and all those of activities you can see into your organization, that is going to reflect on the 5S implementation, right? So this is the key. If you're going for the implementation of any lean tool, it's very important that your employee must be engaged. It's not only for the lean, you can talk about any continuous improvement program. It's very important that your employee must be engaged. Then and then only these programs are giving you the significant results. And that is will take care as a part of spirit. You must also have a plan so that you can check what is the happiness level into your organization and what are the pain points of all your employees. You must initiate the action plans on it so that we can improve the spirit, and thereby you can see its reflection into the entire continuous improvement program, including 5S. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Great. So this is the most important part that you can see is got added to the 5S. The second tool is the standard work. Again, I can say this is one of the most important tools from Lean. Why so? Because here we are going to create the system so that everyone understood how to work, right? Now, when we talk about the standard work, it consists of three important elements. The first element is called as a takt time. What is a takt time? Takt time is a time that is a, I can say, the process speed that we need to maintain so that we can meet the customer requirements. In other words, if you can ask the question, what should be our process speed? That will be explained by the takt time, right? So we need to focus on that. Second, what is a work time and sequence? That means if you are going to talk any process, you must know what is a beginning, what is a finish point for it, and what are the steps or how many number of steps through which that operation or that process needs to be carried out, right? So that's a work time and sequence. For each of the steps, let's say, for example, if you take a one step that is having the 5 sub-steps of it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you must know what is the time that is required for the step 1, how many number of operators are required, or how many machines are required, and what is the sequence, right? You must know the same for the sub-step number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that is called as a work time and sequence. And the third part is about the standard working process. That means, let's say if you have the 5 steps, how much inventory, how much working process must be there? Like between sub-step 1 and 2, how many number of WIP there, right? So you can explain that in terms of the numbers, or you can explain that in terms of the money value, right? So you can do that in any way. This is one of the most important tool there. Once you implement the standard work, that is giving you the more clarity about how the operations are going to be worked, and that is also giving you an opportunity for the continuous improvement. Is it clear about the standard work?
Yep.
Once we complete this overview, I will go through the presentations, and in that presentation, we will see each of these lean tools in further details. Okay, so don't worry about it. So there will be a lot of examples and a lot of steps that is involved. You will see that in more detail. This is just an overview. The third tool, I can say it's an essential tool of the lean, is the Poka-Yoke. And we just now also seen into the standardization, what is the importance of this Poka-Yoke. When we talk about the Poka-Yoke, there are 3 important types of Poka-Yokes. You can see the prevention, that is a better level of Poka-Yoke, detection, and warning. What is the difference between these 3? Prevention type of Poka-Yokes prevent the mistake from happening, right? So they act before the mistake is going to happen. Let's take an example of this. You must have the HDMI port to your laptop. That's the simplest example I'm taking. There are too many examples. If you can see the switches and all that, you will see the multiple examples there. Just here, let's talk about this simple example. If you have the HDMI cable, you cannot put that anywhere. There is a dedicated port to your laptop or your PC. You can just insert there depending on the shape of that pin, right? So that's a prevention. Second level of Poka-Yoke is a detection. That means it immediately catches any mistake once that is happened, right? So it is going to act after something is getting happened, right? So look at this image, right? So you can see there are two barriers in which the system is going to detect once the defect is getting produced, but that is not getting processed to the next level. So this is called as a detection level. And the third level is the warning. The warning is like the type of Poka-Yoke that will not stop the operation. That will just give you the indication, right? But the operation will continue. Send alerts when a machine is not operating in its normal condition, right? So it will just give you the signal. It will just give you the warning. That will not stop the operation. So if you want to see, all these are the Poka-Yokes that is going to help you so that you can take the immediate actions. Prevention, detection, and warning. Is it clear about the Poka-Yokes?
Yes, sir.
Great. Now the fourth tool is the single minute exchange of dice, that is also called as a SMED. Now this tool is very powerful. That is going to be used when you want to use or you want to reduce the changeover time, right? So you can see in some processes, the changeover time is the critical element and it is taking the significant time of the entire operations. To reduce that time, a single minute exchange of dice is going to help us, where we are going to convert the number of activities during the changeover as an external activities, and then we are going to use the ECRS for it. What is the ECRS? That means we are going to eliminate some of the operations. We are going to combine them. You want to make them fast, we can make them rapid, and we can simplify them, right? So we are going to use the ECRS approach on all this. How we are going to do that, I will explain in very detail once you go to the presentations. But this is the approach we are going to follow during the SMED, where you can see clearly into this image. Before SMED, you can see the length of this blue bar indicates what is the time required for the changeover. If you make some of the activities on external activities, that means what? Before to start the changeover, can we make some kind of preparation? Can we reduce some time during the changeover by preparing it before the changeover? So that is called as external activities. We can also remove some of the activities by combining them, right? So that is called as a remove. We can remove them or we can convert them. And the last one is streamline. We can think over it. Can we reduce the speed further? Can we make it more simplified, right? And thereby we can reduce the changeover time further, right? So you can see here, before was like you can see what is the length of the blue bar and later on how much that length is reduced. So this is a very effective approach that I have also experienced and I have also used many times into my career, so that we can reduce the changeover time significantly for the any of the changeovers. Is it clear about the SMED?
Clear, but if you have any, if you can share the example.
Yeah, we'll see that. Once we go to the
Sure.
presentation, I will explain you.
Sure.
This is just an overview. Let me complete the overview and then we will go to the example. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Sachin. Okay, so the next tool is the Kaizen and Kaizen Blitz. So you can see there are two things here. We can also call it as a everyday Kaizen and Kaizen event for more simplicity. So everyday Kaizen is like you have the smaller activity like that any individual or group of like 2 or 3 people can go there and they can execute, right? So there's a small improvement. And once you're going to do these small improvements, we can see the small benefits also going to be to that will be there, and that will result into the benefits to the organization as well. Every improvement that you are going to do, that must be documented into the before and after format. So that means you can say what was the before thing and what are the actions you take, and after that what is the improvement you got. You can always have the benefits like by implementation of that countermeasure or by implementation of that activity, what are the benefits you got? Who is the executor? Who is the idea generator? What is a Kaizen idea, right? So you must have unique number for each and every Kaizen that you are going to implement. And you must also have the date of implementation. One more thing, you must also explain whatever the Kaizen that you have executed, that Kaizen has impacted which area, like whether it's improved the safety of your organization, quality into your organization, delivery, cost, right? And we can also talk about the moral, or you can also talk about the environment. So which area into your organization get improved by taking this action, by implementing that Kaizen. So that we need to mention. The next one is a Kaizen event. Now, this is the bigger exercise. We can say it is a focused 5-day exercise. In that, it also includes a lot of activities, including like you need to define like what is the problem that you want to solve by end of this Kaizen event. What is your goal? You need to formulate the team for it. You need to map the measures process, right? So it includes the set of activities that we need to complete on each of the day. That's a very focused approach, and I can say it is also the cross-functional team. So it is not the like Kaizen only 1 or 2 or group of 3 people that are going to be execute. Is a bigger activity require the cross-functional team. Like you can have the from production, quality, maintenance, logistics, right? Even you sometimes you need the customer suppliers or customer representative, depending on the scope of the Kaizen event. So this is the difference between these two, and these two are again the core part of the lean approach. So that means you can use this lean tool to ensure the continuous improvement at the smaller level as well as at the moderate or higher level. Is it clear about the Kaizen and Kaizen event?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me. Great. Let's go to the 6th tool, which is PDCA. As the name indicates, it talks about the plan, do, check, and act. If you see any problem is there, we are going through this PDCA, right? So that means in plan, we are going to identify what is the situation, what are the problems, who are going to work on it, what is the timeline for it. So in short, we are going to plan how we are going to solve this problem. In do, we are going to do some brainstorming and we are going to identify what are the possible causes because of that problem can happen. And based on that, we are going to have some list of possible solutions. In check, we are going to execute those solutions and we are going to see after implementation of those solutions, what are the results we are getting. And based on that results, we can identify which countermeasure is the best or which action is the best. And in last step, we are going to execute that best solution. So this is a simple approach, but I can say one of the most effective approach that we need to use. I can say this is an approach that is used everywhere. Sometimes you can also see some variations of this, like here is a PDCA, you can also see PDSA. So a check is replaced by the static, but it's absolutely fine. You can see the intent is same. We are going to see what is the impact of your implementation. We can identify what is the best one and you are going to execute that one. Is it clear about the PDCA? We will also see one practical example once I'm going to show you the presentations.
Yes, sir.
Great. So this is about the 6th tool. The 7th one is the continuous flow. Now we can see slowly, you can we feel like we are going towards the advanced and more complex tools in the lean. So we started with the simplest one, and then slowly we are going to the more I can say the tool which is required a lot of knowledge and subject matter expertise. So continuous flow is the tool that we are going to use. Thereby, we are going to ensure that a single product moves through every step of the process, right? So there are many types of, I can say the processes, right? One is can call it as a working in batches and other can call it as a continuous flow. So the working in batches is like you are going to make some we are going to make the same operations on, let's say 5, 10, 15, or whatever the number is there. We're going to do the one operation. We are going to accumulate them, and then you are going to move that to the second operation. Then the second operation is carried out on all those parts, and then we are going to store them, and we are going to move that to the third operation and something like that. This is called as a working in batches. Whereas if you see the continuous flow, you're going to move one part consistently into the operations. Like you can do the one operation on that, and it will go to the second level and to the third operation, like that, right? Now, what is the beauty of the continuous flow? Continuous flow is going to address multiple issues. Like if you're having the major waste into your processes, that is going to be addressed here. If there is a huge cycle time variations, that is also going to help you to level or make your production at the constant speed and at the make the all cycle times somewhat matching to each other, right? So there are a lot of efforts that is required to work on the continuous flow. Creating the continuous flow is not so easy, but there is a series of operations, series of projects, series of efforts are required, and thereby you will reach to the continuous flow. Now the question will come sometimes, okay, but continuous flow will not be the best for each and every type of industry, right? So just look at this image. That will help you to understand two important variations into the processes. One is called as a volume and other called as a variety. Just look at here. If you have low variety, that means you can say almost your pots are have the same configuration, or there is some minor differences between them, and you have the huge volume, right? So in that case, the continuous flow is the best one. If you have the moderate variety, and if you also have the medium to high the volume, then assembly line will be the better one. If you have both the medium, then you can think about the manufacturing cell. If you have the very low volume and the variety is medium to high, you should have the work center, right? But if it's situation like you only have the one or two or something like very low volume and very high variety, that should be treated on the project based, right? So if I want to explain like continuous flow, if you want to follow for this project one, it should not be, right? So depending on the situation, right, you can use the appropriate approach here. It's clear about the continuous flow?
Yes.
Great. Now with this continuous flow, now let's go to the next tool in Lean, which is Kanban. Kanban is the very simple tool, I can say the visualization tool, that is going to help us to understand how our processes are going to be work. It helps you to visualize your work, maximize efficiency, give you the clarity, and also become more responsive, right? So you can see here, there is one example of Kanban 3-bin system where you can, though you are depending on the supply, it cannot affect your productions, right? Or your operations. Thereby, you can have the systems like this. Let's say there is a one bin that you are going to put into your store, and that is going to be controlled by your supplier, right? So let's say if your bin is getting empty, right? So that will automatically come to the store as you're going to take the new bin for your operations. As soon as the empty bin come to the store, that signal is going to be supplier. Like the bin is empty, so supplier is going to replace it. So it is not going to stop your operations, because there will be some time that supplier will get so that they can replace this empty bin, and thereby your operations will be continued. And you need not to be store huge amount of inventory. That's called as a Kanban system. It's very easy but effective tool that we can use as a part of your Lean implementation. It's clear?
Yes.
Great. The next tool is the Heijunka. Now, this is somewhat, I can say, the advanced level of Lean tool that you will see as a part of black belt training. So whatever the tools that you can see 1 to 8 that you can see into the green belt, but the 9th and 10th tool that we are going to see, that is required a lot of, I can say, the effort, and also the difficulty level is somewhat higher when we talk about the Heijunka and the theory of constraint, the last tool into the Lean. So Heijunka is the process of production leveling. Sometime before we talk about during the continuous flow and batching, right? So for the continuous flow, it's very important that your all the stations must have these somewhat similar cycle times, right? The process of production leveling along with standard work. So it also includes this standard work. by the time you work on the Heijunka, you are going to work on two M's, that is a Mura and Muri, right? So there is an example that is we have taken, and I will also show you in presentation. So how this Heijunka is going to be work. So there is the two types of Heijunka that we can have, by the category and by the volume, right? So that we will see also. Heijunka, that's the production labeling. And the last tool is the theory of constraint.
So there
As
is
a
a one more M. Sorry, sir. There
Yeah.
is a one more
Mura.
M, right?
Mura.
Muri,
Muri, right?
and there is a one more M, right?
There are three
Mura.
M's: Mura, Muda, Muri.
Yeah, Mura,
Three
Muri.
M's,
Yeah,
right?
got it. Yeah.
And the last one is the theory of constraint. As the name indicates, it identifies constraints or bottleneck and improve it consistently. So if you take any operations, so there is a one link that is called as a weakest link into your entire operations, that is called as a bottleneck, right? And to address that bottleneck, you need to improve that. We need to consistently work on it, and simultaneously, we need to identify what is the next bottleneck, right? So once you are going to work on some bottleneck, another process, another step is going to be bottleneck. Again, we need to work on it. So it is a never-ending process. We need to work on it as a continuous improvement. And there are a lot of precautions also we need to take related to the constraint, like whatever the input that you are going to provide to the constraint, that must be always a good quality product, good quality input, right? So there can be also have some buffer. So anything that is going to happen before that is not going to stop the bottleneck, right? So bottleneck must be always working. Whatever the input that you are going to supply to your bottleneck, that must be of great quality. Whatever is going out of the bottleneck, that must be always of good quality, right? So whatever the actions, whatever the initiatives that we need to take to make sure that the bottleneck is always working, that we need to do. That's a one approach. And simultaneously, we need to think about how we can improve that bottleneck, right? So there is the drum buffer role is one of the approach that we are going to use. You can see here simply, this is a bottleneck, and we are going to ensure that there is some buffer that is always present before that bottleneck. So bottleneck is not going to be stopped because the material is not available. As soon as this buffer is getting consumed, so this signal will come to this input, and the input will come to this buffer, right? Because you can see the amount of volume that is coming to here, that will be huge. So we should not continuously produce and create a large amount of inventory here, but we can have some safety stock here. And this is like this is going to be provide the signal. So in that way, the theory of constraint is going to be work.
Yes, Vijay.
Great. We will also see all of these tools with the help of practical example, like how we are going to execute that for our model project that we discuss, like the defect reduction project, right? How to use these tools and what will the impact of them, what is the approach that we can follow in some time. Before to go there, let me explain, let me conclude what are the tasks that we need to complete as a part of this challenge 10. The first thing, if you enroll in it as a green belt, first thing that complete the training for the chapter 18 and complete the assessment 5. This is highlighted in red because this is not a new exercise. We already need to complete the assessment 5 till the last week. That's a challenge 9. But if you are not completed, please do that. For the black belt, you need to complete the advanced design of experiment. I think that we already done. Advanced LEAN tools you need to learn. That's a Heijunka and theory of constraint. Please go there and understood this with the help of practical example. And assessment you need to complete as assessment 9 as a part of this black belt training. We'll also get this task below the recording of the today's session. So below that, you will see what are the tasks you need to complete, and you can go for it. Is it clear about the task for green belt and black belt?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that is related to training and assessment. For the project execution, you need to standardize your countermeasure at the level 4 and above, right? So you already know what is your root cause. Now think about the countermeasure, the solution for it at the level 4 and above, so that you can have the very good standardization for your countermeasure. Don't forget to learn all lean tools, use them periodically, understand how to apply this tool in which situation, which tool is better, and repeat this process so that whenever there is a need, whenever there is a situation that you can use any one of these lean tools, there must be at the tip of your tongue that which tool you need to use, right? So you not to think. If you are going to use these consistently, you are going to learn them. What is the logic behind application of these tools? What are the steps into it? So you can use them effectively to reduce the waste, right? And the last but not the least, please schedule at least 10 or 15 minutes of call every single week with me. Explain or discuss, let's discuss about what is your learning is going on. Do you need any help in your understanding of the concepts, practical execution of the project, or anything that is holding you back? And if you want to share anything into this weekly call, right? So please let me know one day before so that I can create you a slot. Like Sarvanan has shared the 2 weeks before the great project from how he reduced the customer complaint from I think it's around 6% to 0%, right? So that kind of sharing is not just going to help you to improve your presentation skills, but that is also going to help other people to give an insights like how they can use all these Lean Six Sigma tools and what is a practical significant practical impact that they can made by using these lean tools, these Lean Six Sigma tools. Is it clear?
Oh yeah, Vishnu.
Yes.
Great. So now let's go. It's time for the practical examples. So we'll see the practical examples from all these lean tools, right? So how these lean tools is going to be used and all that. So let me stop the sharing and open the file. We are also going to see that how we are going to execute that for our model project as well. Can you see my screen? Excel file?
Yes.
Okay, so before that, let me stop the live streaming. Thank you so much for everyone who attended the live session on the YouTube.